Hello and welcome back to another episode of Don't Call Me Skinny. Thanks for being here today. Glad you're joining me. Just remember, if you love this podcast, if you could rate it, write it, review, share, screenshot, post socials, all the great things, that would be super helpful. You'll notice this is a little late today, but we're getting it done. We're getting it out. I literally spent all weekend in the pool area with my family. Literally, I had a swimming Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon. So it was just kind of a whirlwind of a weekend. And I'm glad to say that it went very well for both of my kids, very excited for them. But I'm also happy to not be sitting in a pool area today. Not gonna lie. So, guys, I want to talk about something that came up this week, with my group coaching program. This is kind of the cool thing about group coaching is, it brings to the forefront what's actually going on and things that are happening. And something that came up on our group call this last Wednesday, I want to briefly touch on, as well as we had our check-in call this morning, and it kind of ties into this I don't want to say problem or whatnot, but this is like another constant hiccup that most women have during this process. So I want to talk about a couple of things here, both of them, again, coming up in the group coaching. Also, I'm still having women ask and join. So somebody hopped in on Friday. I got another one that could be happening this week. So I'm really excited that for those of you that are looking for a long-term health solution, you can just hop in for the year. That's what these women are doing at a bangering price. I can't go any lower than this. And next time it launches, it will be a different price. So just the women that are hopping in right now, we're like, okay, this is what I need. Let's do it. Sign me up. It's just absolutely amazing. And I'm really proud of them, by the way. So that being said, I am really wanting to talk about, I've talked about it before. It's like the subconscious brain versus the conscious brain. And I really think that, in order for us to change our health overall, in order for us to do something different, it really has to be in the conscious part of our brain. And a lot of us are thinking that we're just going to wake up and be tracking our food, and we're just going to eat healthy all of a sudden. We're just going to do all these things. And what I'm going to tell you is this is really false. This is going to take effort. It is going to cost energy for you to actually start thinking about the things that you're doing. Oh, I just forgot to track my food. Oh, I just forgot until after I ate it. Oh, I just forgot to get in my walk. Oh, I just forgot to plan. Here's the problem with that. That is why you're in the fucking place that you're in. This is why you continuously stay stuck, is because you're not bringing it to the forefront of your brain every fucking day. Every fucking day. And I know this sounds weird, and it took me a long time to get here, but I do remember even in the beginning, everything tied back to, is this where I want to go? Does this serve the purpose that I'm trying to get to? Does this align with my goal? Does this make sense if I'm trying to get healthier, if I'm trying to lose weight, if I'm trying to do these things? Is not making a conscious effort going to help me? No, it's just not. It's just not going to help me. So when we are saying things like, well, I just forgot, or I just didn't know, or I just all these things, I didn't know what to ask for help. There's lots of things to be asking for help. That's number one. But number two, on the flip side of that, is the fact that you have to think about it. This is going to take up space in your brain. Which is why it's important to be in a space to understand, what should I be focusing on right now? I have a couple women in my group coaching program who really just need to start focusing on tracking their fucking food. You need to just track it. I don't care what the fuck you're eating. Just track what you're eating, because I can't help you if I can't see what the fuck you're eating. I can't shift anything. Now, if you're tracking what you're eating, I can absolutely help, even if it's not exact measurements. Even if it's just text, oh, I forgot, I didn't take a picture, so I didn't do anything. That's a problem. You know what you fucking ate. If you know at lunch you didn't track your breakfast, you go back and you type in 3 eggs, 2 sausage patties, and blah, 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 blah. You can do that. It's not too late. That's the thing. Oh, I just forgot, so I'll just do it next time. Oh, I'll just try harder next time. Oh, I'll just do this thing next time. It's the problem is it's not a priority. If it was a priority, it would be a conscious decision in your brain. And so I say that not in a mean way, right? Especially for my group girls that are listening to this, because I know you're going to listen to this. It's not to be mean. It's not about being mean about it, but it's the reality. It's the reality. At 250 pounds, I fucking thought about what I was doing. even if I wasn't doing the right thing, even if it looked a little bit like weird or like, I'm like, I don't even know if this is the right thing I should be doing. I fucking thought about it. There was a thought process my brain went through, like, okay, if I need to get more protein and I'm looking at protein, then okay, all these things, okay, then I need to make, okay, this does not make sense then. Maybe I need to try this instead or add something to it. Or is 10 grams of protein a lot? Or how does this look? Or I just need to get it in my tracker. Even if it's quote unquote really bad or really wrong or all these things, I just have to focus on doing that. And so many of us are not consciously thinking about it. So many of us are not doing the thing to make it happen. So many of us are not making it a part of our thoughts. And that is why you're going to stay stuck. It's like you just expect that you're going to do this. You're learning something new. Like imagine learning a new task at work, or even like think back to like learning how to ride a bike. Like before you went off, you're like, okay, I fucked up last time and I fell over. And if I don't want to fall over again, what do I need to shift and adjust? You're thinking about that process. You're like, okay, if I need to do this, what do I need to do for that? It's a conscious thought, right? But yeah, our health is just like back burner. Like, oh, it's not important. Oh, I don't have to worry about it. Oh, whatever the case is. Y'all, this is the problem. This is like a big problem, a really big problem. It's the fact that you're not actually putting it in the conscious part of your brain. And yes, that takes practice, but it also takes, what's the word I'm looking for? It also means it has to mean something to you. It has to be a priority to you because it's never going to go into the conscious part of your brain if it's still sitting back there. If you're still in the driver or in the passenger seat and your health's sitting in the back seat and in the trunk, that's what's going to happen. You're not actually consciously thinking about it because you're actively making a choice sometimes to not think about it. When you go to eat that donut, don't tell me you're not sitting there going, does this align with my goals? Or you go to get seconds or you go to do something and it's like, does this align with my goals? Even if the answer is like, nope, but I'm going to do it anyway, there's at least a conscious thought process. And I'm going to tell you this. Saturday night, the Lions lost. It was a rough game. And my niece ended up going to Cold Stone Creamery. And if you don't know what Cold Stone is, it's like literally where they make this ice cream. It's like hard ice cream. They put it on this slab and then they do all these mixing things. And I haven't had Cold Stone in like years. And I was like, man, that kind of sounds good. So what I did is I went to their little menu and I was like, I'll go see if anything like jumps at me. Like if it's like, ooh, that sounds good, right? Because sometimes things sound good and sometimes they don't. And so I was like scrolling through and there's like this peanut butter love or something or another. And I was like, ooh, that sounds good, right? There was this part of me that was like, I probably shouldn't do this. It doesn't really align with my goals. But man, I haven't had Cold Stone in forever. I just kind of want some ice cream. I haven't even had ice cream in a while, probably since like the late fall, like October timeframe. And so it's like, man, it just sounds kind of good. Like I just kind of want some ice cream. It just sounds good. And so I got it. You know what? And the scale went up the next day and it is what it is. But the point that I'm making is it was a conscious choice. I went to the menu. I first wanted to see, does anything even stand out? You know, they have birthday cake and they have cheesecake ones and they have all these things. And I was like, oh man, all those do sound kind of good. But man, I just saw that peanut butter one. I was like, ooh, yeah, that sounds like really good. It's like a peanut butter cup and peanut butter swirl and chocolate ice cream. I'm like, man, that just sounds like it's going to hit the spot, you know? And so I went for it. But it was a conscious choice that I made, even though afterward, I still kind of felt like, yeah, probably not the best idea if I want to get where I want to go, but I'm going to do it anyway. And it was a conscious choice that I made. So when I saw that the scale went up the next day, when I saw that I didn't get, what I wanted this weekend, where I probably did overconsume. I didn't track food on Saturday, to be honest. And I probably did overconsume solely because I was sitting at a meet and I tend to get a little bit snacky when I get bored. And it's not that I didn't take quote unquote good snacks. I took appropriate snacks. I just eat them, all of them. Okay. But I did do conscious things. Like I took a protein shake with me. I had protein bars there. Like it wasn't like I was eating like cake and cookies and donuts and chips and all these things, I did take conscious things where I made a conscious choice. Okay, if I'm going to take this really delicious strawberry, whatever, I am going to take my protein shake that has 30 grams of protein in it. And I'm also going to eat and drink that, right? So that's what I did. And then last night after the swim meet, we went out, right? It's like I went to the menu. What can I get? What looks good? What should I get? Right. And I ended up with a salad that was this like crispy chicken salad. I asked for grilled chicken instead, right? It was a conscious choice that I had to make. There were a lot of other things that I really wanted. Things like chicken Parmesan. Dude, that shit looks so good. Their pizza looks so good, right? All these things looked so good. Fettuccine Alfredo, their chicken quesadilla. Like there were so many things like I could have eaten like so easily. It was a conscious choice. It's not because I had to get the salad, which by the way, the salad was fucking bomb.com. It was super delicious and ginormo. But like, it's not that I couldn't have it. It's that I chose to have it because I knew that my, food hadn't been quote unquote the best all weekend. It was a conscious choice. I chose the salad because that's what I wanted to have because it aligned with my goals, not because somebody forced me to eat it, not because I wasn't allowed quote unquote to eat the other things. It was a conscious decision, a conscious choice. Okay. That is the difference. But it always has to be a conscious choice, whether you're in the very beginning, whether you're in the middle, whether you're like me who are, almost 9 years in and you're still chugging along and still having to make conscious choices. The game never ends. And that's what I think people really think like, oh, sometime this is just going to be super simple for me, or this feels really hard right now, so I just don't want to do it. It's still hard. Like when everybody around you is getting all the things, cheeseburgers and pizza and pasta and all this stuff, and you're getting the salad. That is a hard conscious decision to make because you know you need to do it, not because you want to do it. It's not like, man, I would much rather have, when I look at all the things on the menu, man, I'd rather have had chicken Parmesan. I would rather have had chicken piccata, but I also want to get where I want to go. And on top of that, the choices over the weekend weren't quote unquote the best or ideal for all of my goals. So it's like I had to make a sacrifice somewhere. I had to choose something. And again, it comes back to it has to be a priority. It has to be a conscious decision that you're making. You can't just throw some shit at the wall and hope to God it fucking sticks. It was a conscious choice to look at the menu. It was a conscious choice to choose the salad with the grilled chicken. All of those things were a conscious decision. 9 years in, you're not getting out of it without that choice, okay? Without bringing it to the forefront, without making it a priority. It's not just, you're just not going to wake up one day and be like, oh, today's the day I decided to track all my food. If you decide to do that, it's because you're consciously making a decision to make it a priority that it needs to be. It's not about anything else, right? So the flip side of this is when we tend to, like, I had a weekend that it was a little bit off, where it was a little less structured, where I was sitting for a long time in a warm environment and I was just like bored and trying to work and trying to watch swim and all the things, right? And so my structure was off, right? It also requires a conscious decision when your structure is off to make your life a little bit more structured, right? We always fall off on the weekends and all this stuff. And it's like, it's because you're not consciously choosing to make choices on the weekends where we get to the end of the weekend. It's like, God, I'm just so exhausted. Well, if you spent some of your time on the weekends planning and preparing for the week, you're going to be less exhausted on the weekend because you're going to take a lot of thinking, a lot of overthinking, a lot of guilt and shame out of that cycle in your process of doing the things that you need to do on the weekend when you're quote unquote exhausted or off your schedule or it's so much harder to stick to. It is. I'm going to validate that for you. It is harder to stick to on the weekends. You literally just heard my whole entire weekend story, right? Where I was off my shit because I was off a structure. We were, watching the Lions game, which I'm still very sad about, but we were watching the Lions game and we were having a little get together and all the things. I also made a conscious decision to take something high in protein to share with people, right? These were all conscious decisions. Did I overconsume food Saturday night? I did actually because I didn't feel good. Like I ate, by the time I finished eating that ice cream, I was like, bleh. Definitely overconsumed. Only needed, and we had subs and I took the top off the sub because they're very bready. And so I only ate like the the innards of the sub and the bottom part of the sub because it was less bread. But I probably only needed one of those. Okay. I didn't need to eat all of it. I didn't need to have both kinds. Like there's just things that I could have chose differently had I been a little bit more aware and conscious of my decisions. There was some of me that was on autopilot that was like, oh, this sounds good and tastes good. And oh my God, and this is wonderful. This is amazing. That's the reality, right? I was a little bit off my game. Oh, we're going to celebrate. We're going to win this football game and we didn't. And then it was kind of like, womp womp. And then it was like, oh, I want ice cream and all. It was a series of events that took place, right? And these were all conscious choices, but my structure was off. Everything was off. So it's like a matter of just understanding, like we have to have that structure and routine, even when we don't have the structure and routine. Even on the weekends when everything was a little bit off and my structure was off, my breakfast was the same. My breakfast was still like 40 grams of protein, like boom, done, right? Then I took my protein shake, 30 grams of protein. So in 2 things that I consumed, I was already hitting 70 grams of protein. Boom, done. Super fucking simple, super fucking easy, right? At minimum, I was getting that 70 grams of protein. Okay. So then it's like, what else can I add in? Yesterday, I had that chicken. I had that chicken salad. During the meat, I had another like half of a protein bar, which is not a lot, but that was like 10 grams. So yesterday, I probably consumed around 100 to 120 grams. I'm not exactly sure because again, I didn't track my food. Again, awareness. But that was also a conscious choice that I made. Okay. So we have to be understanding that if you're not making conscious decisions and you're just running on autopilot, I'm going to tell you this, and it might hurt your feelings, but your health is not a priority. If you want your health to be a priority, you have to bring it into the forefront. If you want your health to be a priority, you have to bring it up and make conscious choices about the things that you are choosing or the things that you are not. You can still not choose something and it's still a conscious choice. I chose the ice cream. That was a conscious decision. I chose the chicken salad. That was a conscious decision. Both are not wrong because they were both done and they were done in a choice of it's a choice that I'm choosing versus I'm just running on autopilot. And that is the difference. Running on autopilot, you're not making choices. You're not in your conscious brain. You're in the subconscious part of your brain, which ladies, we run here about 97% of our day, 90% of our day, ridiculous, is all just running on our subconscious, just our habits, our routines, and all the things. You have to break the cycle. You have to insert something to get out of that. You have to do it differently. You can't keep running in the subconscious and going, I don't understand why it's not working. I don't understand why I'm not getting the shift I want. I'm really trying. You're not really trying if you're not making a conscious decision every single thing that you do and tying it back to, is this helping me reach my goals? That should be a conscious question you ask yourself every fucking time you eat something, you do something, or you don't do something. Does this tie back into my goal? Yes, great. No, okay, still doing it, or I'm choosing not to do it. That's the reality of the situation. You're not getting out of it alone without doing this. You're not getting out of this in the subconscious part of the brain. You better sit with being in the conscious part of your brain, and you have to do something different in order to get there. Okay. So that being said, again, ladies are still actually hopping in at Fat Loss Basics. If it's something that you're still interested in hopping in for the year, you're welcome to do it. Right now you can still get in. We are entering week 3 of 10 weeks for those that are just doing that first session. So, but outside of that, guys, I hope you have a great Monday. For those that are in this cold snap, please stay warm. I know in Michigan, it's supposed to be about negative, I don't even know what, negative freeze your tits off. That's the temperature, negative freeze your tits off. And so I don't think we're going to have school again tomorrow. So there is that, but I hope you guys have a great day and I'll catch you on the next episode.